Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. Are you living by your will? Notice I said your will, not someone else's will. You know, you either living by your will or living by someone else's will. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Are you living according to what you want to do in life, your sovereignty, or are you living according to how someone else wants you to do? Are you really following someone else? This is very important because, this channel is known for, the whole man gets women game. But what I also wanted to be known for is a man building himself up. Because y'all notice I do a lot of videos and podcasts. I ain't even talking about women. I'm just talking about sovereignty. Sovereignty means you got some control over your life. But see, the thing is, you have a significant number of people, probably 95% of people. The 5%ers will say maybe 85%. But whatever, a high number of people, they just following along. They following the herd. You know, their style of clothing they wear is because everybody else is doing that. The haircuts they get, the food they eat, even the subjects that they think they're passionate about. It's because everybody else is doing it. And, I'm just like, no, I don't do anything. My thing is don't do something just because somebody else is doing it. Unless you just happen to, by your will, want to do it. Because when you're living by somebody else's will, you don't have control over your life. They have control. And it's especially bad if they recognize they have control over your life, because then they will assert it. You basically a slave to them. And the worst type of slave, because you're a voluntary slave to them. Now, I'm just going to be real. I'm going to use that term, too. You voluntarily following along this person. What they say, do, and everything. That's why I say it on the car video. That's why I don't respond well to the word should. Because when someone says should to me, that's telling me that they think I should follow along something because they want it. Because they want it. Like I should follow. Like, see, when you say should, it's like, well, Rom, you should do a video on this. No, if you would like, you ask me nicely. You say, or you put some money in my pocket, and even then I ain't gonna do it. If it ain't something I want to talk about, and I've told some people, I've given people their money back. They hit me up and say, hey, Ron, talk about this. Here's some money. And I refund them. I say, that's not something I'm interested in. Some people can attest to that. They'll hit me up, can you talk about this? I'd say, look, that's not something I would talk about. Because I live by my will. Now, if they give me something interesting and they ask in a proper way, I was like, oh, yeah, I can do that. But it's my choice, And every man need to be that way. And they need to live by their will. Because, seriously, because I'm going to tell you what. Once people think they have some control over you, they don't respect you. They don't respect you. Everything is on their time, their terms. And that don't work that way. That doesn't work that way. You can't have that. Because as a man, a man's supposed to be dominant in his own life. Now, I'm going to tell you what, there's always some talk, people know I don't like using the words alpha and beta. Reason why I don't, because ultimately a man needs to be the alpha in his own life, in his own household. That means every single man should be alpha. Now, the select, non-select thing, that's slightly different. But if you're talking about what's an alpha, a leader. But how you going to be a leader if you're following someone else? Now, if you agree with somebody else and you have the same plan and you walk in with them, that's understandable. Or you support somebody because what they espouse is in agreement with what you want. Okay, that's different. That's different. But if you just following and not really thinking about it, if you just following the crowd, like I did a car video. I was saying why I don't do lives and stuff. But this thing is, people were saying doing lives, say, hey, do lives because that's what these people doing. No, that's not my will. Only way I would really just do lives on my own is if nobody else was doing them. That's how I think. I don't follow the crowd. I don't go along with it because, like I said in that particular video, I said whenever I followed, it never worked out for me. That's the reason why. Because I ain't going to act like I just came into life and from the time I was a child, just did my own thing. Well, my uncle would disagree with me. Said I was a stubborn little boy. But, you try to go with it. I was like, this ain't working. See, here's the reason why I'm like that. I'm about to get deeper. What you have in this world, you have herds. And then you have the elite who control the shepherds who shepherd the herd. So, and like people who might be 5%ers, I'm just to be clear, I'm not a 5%, but I understand their general thing. You got the herd, then you got the people who try to drive the herd, or who drive the herd, and then you have the people who drive the drivers, the shepherds. And, my thing is, only the way you can break the control of the elite is to follow your own will. Don't follow the crowd. Don't follow the crowd. If you do something the same thing as the crowd, you do it only because that's what you want to do. You personally benefit from that. But don't follow the follow. There is so many, I've met so many men and women who dealt with somebody because everybody else was. Like, I've met women who would want a particular type of man because somebody said they should like him. They should find that man attractive. And they were like, oh, yeah, boom. And you know how I feel about that word should. Or somebody say, you should do this or that. I'm like, okay, fine. Y'all do that. I'm going to do it my way. Apparently it works. Because I have a degree of sovereignty in my life. And that's the whole thing. So the question you have to answer when you look in the mirror, are you living by your will or are you just following the crowd? You got to ask yourself that. That's very important. Even those who support me. Whatever I always say, I say, don't just take my word for what I'm saying. Go out and find out yourself. That's the key thing. You got to deal with this on your own. You got to find out. I'm giving a perspective. You see if that perspective works for you. And if it don't, or you do something slightly different, I'm good with that. Even when I talk about body game, what do I say? Try it. That's all I've said. And like I said, I've yet to have a person who've tried it to come back and say, this didn't work for him. But that's all I'm saying. And even then, it's still your choice. If you say, look, you don't want to lift or anything, okay, fine. You don't have to. If it's your will. But then the funny thing is with some of those guys, they just follow somebody else. They will follow somebody else. And if I say, well, how come you ain't doing well? This person said, okay, did you try it for yourself? Live by your will. Live by your will or you will live by someone else's will. Ask yourself which one is more preferable. So think on this. Peace and blessings.